Welcome to N.D.P News, the leading channel for unadulterated coverage of geopolitical news and current international affairs. In today's video, we will examine the significance of the recent meeting between President Marcos and President Biden amidst escalating tensions in the South China Sea, as well as the agreements that were made during the meeting. Furthermore, we will delve into the history of the military alliance between the United States and the Philippines. Thank you for tuning in. On May 1st, Monday, President Joe Biden welcomed President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of the Philippines to the White House. The visit was aimed at further strengthening security and economic relations in the region amidst increasing concerns over China's aggressive posturing. The Filipino leader's visit to the White House was also intended to send a strong message to China that the country was determined to deepen its relationship with the United States. During their meeting, Biden expressed his appreciation for the Philippines' partnership in addressing new challenges. He lauded the initiatives that the two countries had pledged to work on together, particularly on climate change and clean energy. Biden also announced plans to send trade and investment missions to the Philippines to encourage private sector investments in the country. However, the primary objective of Marcos's visit, as far as American officials were concerned, was to strengthen Filipino security and military capabilities. Biden emphasized the United States' unwavering commitment to the defense of the Philippines, particularly in the South China Sea. He reassured Marcos that the United States would continue to support the Philippines' military modernization goals. In his remarks, Biden emphasized the deep friendship between the two countries, enriched by millions of Filipino Americans living in communities across the United States. Marcos echoed Biden's statements, stressing the importance of finding ways to strengthen the two countries' alliances and partnerships. He also highlighted the complexity of the geopolitical situation in Asia, which makes ongoing tensions a matter of global concern. U.S.-Philippine alliance, stronger than ever amid tensions with China. The recent meeting between the United States and the Philippines was not just an ordinary get-together between allies, but it was a powerful message to China that the U.S. remains committed to its partners in the region. The 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty between the two nations, which is the oldest such U.S. agreement in the Asia-Pacific, stipulates that both countries will come to each other's aid in the event of an attack by a third party. However, the invitation to the White House was also a sign of Biden's intention to rebuild strong ties with Manila after they were strained during the presidency of former President Rodrigo Duterte, who sought closer relations with China. The meeting was a significant opportunity for both sides to reaffirm their commitment to each other and discuss key issues that are critical to their partnership. The White House fact sheet released on that same day outlined the new steps and initiatives that the two allies are committing to. The U.S. is providing Manila with 3 C-130 aircraft and additional coastal patrol vessels to support the modernization of the Philippines Armed Forces. The two countries have also agreed on a new set of bilateral defense guidelines, which should enhance cooperation between the Philippine and American armed forces in all operational areas, including land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace. In addition, the U.S. has organized a trade mission to the Philippines later this year, and there will be $3 billion in public and private financing to support the development of critical minerals infrastructure. These initiatives will help improve the economic and military capabilities of the Philippines, which will enable them to defend themselves better against any potential threats. The recent visit of Philippine Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzanza to the U.S. caps a busy month in bilateral engagements, which have raised alarms in Beijing. Thousands of American and Filipino troops have taken part in joint exercises over the past 3 weeks, and the U.S. recently hosted 2 top diplomats from the Philippines for talks. During these talks, both sides agreed to a complete roadmap for Washington to provide security assistance to its regional ally over the next 5 to 10 years. Last year, the U.S. granted $100 million to boost the defense capabilities and military modernization of the Southeast Asian country. It also plans to allocate $100 million for the improvement of military bases, to which the U.S. has access under the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, or EDCA. Now, what do you think of today's topic so far? Drop a comment and let us know. Now, let's get back to it. The U.S.-Philippine defense ties. China's response. China, which remains one of the Philippines' top trading partners, has recently become increasingly vocal about the growing defense ties between the United States and the Philippines. The Chinese ambassador to Manila, Wang Zilian, made a statement last month accusing the Philippines of exacerbating regional tensions by offering the U.S. expanded military base access, which Beijing believes is an attempt to interfere in China's affairs with Taiwan. The Chinese Communist Party has never controlled Taiwan, but it has long claimed the self-ruled island democracy as its own, and has repeatedly refused to rule out using force to take it back. This threat has made Manila feel the need to increase its guard with the help of its ally, the U.S. In response to Ambassador Wang's remarks, a spokesperson for the National Security Council of the Philippines, led by President Marcos, said that the country had no intention of interfering in the Taiwan issue. Nevertheless, tensions between China and the Philippines remain high. The South China Sea is another area of dispute between China and the Philippines. Beijing claims historic rights to much of the region, while Manila has accused Chinese ships of harassing and intimidating Filipino fishing vessels. In recent days, the U.S. has also accused China of intimidating Filipino vessels in the area. The U.S. State Department has called on China to desist from its provocative and unsafe conduct in the South China Sea. The department has also warned that an armed attack on Philippine vessels or forces would invoke the U.S.'s mutual defense commitments. A complicated history. The Philippines' relationship with the United States. The Philippines holds a strategic position due to its proximity to Taiwan, with its northernmost island, Itbayat, located less than 100 miles away. This positioning allows for quick troop response in the event of a conflict with China, making an increased U.S. military presence crucial. Marcos, the current leader of the Philippines, is seen as an eager but untested partner for the United States in this endeavor. Unlike his predecessor Duterte, Marcos has attempted to rekindle the decades-old but complicated alliance between the Philippines and the United States. This alliance stems from the Spanish-American War of 1898, when the United States gained control of the Philippines from Spain, which had ruled the archipelago for centuries. However, this control was marked by brutal suppression of a Filipino independence movement, a war that is largely forgotten in the United States, but not in the Philippines. During World War II, Japan invaded the islands, and the Americans and Filipinos fought together to end the occupation. The Philippines gained its independence in 1946, and in 1951 entered a mutual defense treaty with the United States. American officials note that Mr. Marcos is under domestic pressure to defend his country, with 84% of Filipinos believing that his government should work with the United States to protect its sovereignty in the disputed waters, according to a poll published last year. Gregory B. Poling, the director of the Southeast Asia Program and Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, stated that all of the gains the U.S. makes in the region has been far less about U.S. successes and about China not being able to stop kicking around its smaller neighbors. He added that polling among Filipinos showed frustration with Beijing and broad support for the United States. The Biden administration, he said, has taken advantage of this opportunity and has walked through an open door. In the Oval Office, Mr. Marcos expressed his belief that it is natural for the Philippines to look to its sole treaty partner in the world to strengthen and redefine the relationship and roles that they play in the face of rising tensions around the South China Sea and Asia Pacific. During a meeting on the margins of the UN General Assembly last fall, Mr. Biden echoed this sentiment, stating that he was desperately interested in making sure we do a lot together. We would greatly appreciate your input on the recent military alliance between the U.S. and the Philippines. Given the escalating tensions with China, please share your thoughts in the comment section below, as your feedback is valuable to us. Thank you for choosing N.D.P News, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video.